Jerry Rice, number one, the consistency, the durability, the dependability, the moments in the big time games, the touchdowns, the yards, the route running, the practice habits, the tone setting. He's like, if there was a perfect football player, it's Jerry Rice. Played with different quarterbacks, left-handed quarterback, right-handed quarterback, caught the ball deep. I think the mark of great receivers are, can you catch short passes, intermediate passes, and deep passes? Can you get open in man and against zone? Is there good run after catch? Can you go in and run block? Those are all aspects that make a great player. Number two, Randy Moss. I don't think there's a receiver in history that could scare a defense the way Randy did. Randy would take off running and the DBs would turn and run as fast as they could backwards. And there were routes where he was tracking a DB down and I would think, okay, cut it loose, make a great throw. I would let it go, and Randy would end up 7 yards behind the defensive back. Third, Larry Fitzgerald, the productivity in really an environment where it really wasn't probably the best football environment. He played with a lot of head coaches, a lot of quarterbacks. He was one of the top 3 most consistent players ever to play. We would always say there were 3 things the receiver should do. Get open, which Larry did that in the slot, on the perimeter, all parts of the field. Get open, catch the ball was 2. He caught the ball better than any receiver ever played. He had more tackles on interception returns than drops. That's one of the greatest stats I've ever heard. And the last thing was run with it and do something with it. And Fitzy broke a lot of tackles, was good in the red area, was good on third down. He did it all. If you're looking at the greatest tight end in history, it's Rob Gronkowski. He catches the ball as well as the top 3 or 4 between Kelsey, Gates, Gonzalez, and Gronk. I think those are probably the top 4 pass catching tight ends. But Gronk was without a doubt the greatest run blocking tight end the league's ever seen. Where if I name those other 3, it just wasn't their strength. For Gronk, we would run the ball behind him because that was the best matchup on our team that day. And Gronk embraced blocking better than any player that I ever played with. I think those are my 4: Rice, Moss, Fitzgerald, and then to me, the greatest tight end ever drawn.
I loved this conversation about the Mount Rushmore of receivers. And I'm so glad that they did not relegate it to just wide receivers. There have been so many dynamite tight ends and running backs that don't get spoken of. And this conversation just, to me, was fresh to listen to instead of your same old, lame Mount Rushmore conversations you'll see online. But I think Tom Brady pretty much nailed it though. You can't argue with anybody on this list at all. But I think that for most people, especially folks around my age, around 10 years of my age, would definitely have Jerry Rice and or Randy Moss on their list. They're definitely on mine. To me, without a shadow of a doubt, those 2 define what wide receivers are. Now, Randy Moss didn't have the career that Jerry Rice did. But from 1998 until he left the Patriots, which was like 2009 or so, he terrorized teams. I can't think of a player who frightened the fan base and who frightened teams more than Randy Moss. None. I remember in 1999 when the Chiefs were playing Randy Moss and the Vikings for the first time. And it was around Christmas of 99. And I just remember him coming into Arrowhead and all the hoopla and all the hype around Randy Moss, deservedly so, especially after the rookie season he had in 98. But man, he did do a little damage to the Chiefs when the Chiefs played the Vikings in 99. The Chiefs eventually won that game. But I remember that was the first time us playing him and just me being like, oh, I don't know what to expect from this dude. Like, is he finna terrorize Eric Warfield up and down the sideline? Who else was on that team? Chris Dishman. He was on that 99 Chiefs team. And you look at that 1998 Vikings team with him and Chris Carter and Randall Cunningham, Jake Reed, Robert Smith. They had a 15-1 record and did not get to the Super Bowl as they lost to the Falcons, bro. As the kicker missed their only field goal he missed all season was in that game. And that's what kept Randy Moss from really showing his complete ass in the Super Bowl. He did go to the Super Bowl with the Patriots in 07 in his first year there when they had the whole undefeated regular season. But, man, Randy Moss just frightened teams, man. Just frightened them. Jerry Rice, man, just There's nothing bad you can say about his game. He runs the best routes. He got some of the best hands. He's not the fastest, but if you watch that clip and how Tom Brady was breaking down, receivers are not faster than defensive backs. So they have to have other skill sets, getting in and out of breaks, running the correct routes, catching, just all of those fundamentals I feel like receivers have to master. And Jerry Rice mastered them all. We talking about the most in shape player on the field. He was known for his off-season workouts in California, running up the hills and all this stuff. Like NFL players couldn't even compete with Jerry Rice when it came to workouts and being in shape. So Jerry Rice you look at all the records he has too. A lot of those records are not going to be broken, even in today's NFL game. I don't see a lot of his records being broken. So Jerry Rice was doing all of this stuff when the passing game wasn't what it is today. And Jerry Rice was putting up today's numbers yesterday in the 80s, 90s, and a little bit of the 2000s. However, we should deduct Jerry Rice a little bit for his time with the Raiders and the egregious hairline he had. Like, he should have cut that hair off. Anyway, that's another subject for another day.
Come on, man.
I got 2 more on my Mount Rushmore. And yes, I'm going to be selfish, just like Peyton Manning put 2 Colts. One, Raymond Berry should, come on, man. I mean, I get what you're saying, and no, stop. Nobody's going to agree with that. Marvin Harrison, some people going to agree to. Raymond Berry, a lot of people not going to agree with that. And I feel the same way about Travis Kelce. I feel like he has solidified himself as one of the best receivers of all time. He's a tight end and has caught up with Jerry Rice in 2 of the most prolific stats that as a receiver you can have in the most important times. Postseason touchdowns and receiving yards, that he's threatening Jerry Rice's records. Now, yes, in the middle of a dynasty, he's played in a plethora of playoff games, thanks to Mahomes and Reed or whatever, but so did Jerry Rice. Thanks to Montana and Bill Walsh and George Seifert and, Steve Young, and come on, man. And Kelce, he's done it with multiple quarterbacks. It ain't just Mahomes. He did it with Alex Smith too in the postseason. So that Kelce, besides him, they said that mentioned Tony Gonzalez redefining the tight end role. Well, I think Travis Kelce is redefining it again. I think he's taking it to another level to where, yes, you can line Tony Gonzalez out wide, but he was not as effective as Travis Kelce was. Is getting away from defenders, actually shaking defenders, outrunning linebackers, safeties, sometimes cornerbacks too. I've never seen a tight end get loose and run away from the defense, from linebackers, from safeties like Travis Kelce did. Tony Gonzalez didn't do that. That was not a part of his game. He was a pure catch tight end. He can get those out routes going. He can get you a catch on a crucial third down. He can get the spectacular catches. He can make all the catches he could, but he could not run routes like Kelce. And Kelce was just, to me, more of a threat on the field at different positions. Yes, Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates, for his respect, they kind of did set the trend of those basketball tight ends, getting those rebounds, bodying, using your body as a weapon on the field, and sort of bringing a basketball skill set to the tight end position in the league. But damn it, if they invented it, Travis Kelce perfected it. The numbers speak for themselves. The championships speak for themselves. His legacy and everything else you want to throw in. I believe that Kelce deserves a spot on this Mount Rushmore. And my last one, I'm not sure a lot of people are going to agree with either, but this guy, Chris Carter, it was a reason why Buddy Ryan said he catches nothing but touchdowns. And the problem with that is what exactly? Chris Carter regarded by a lot of guys from the league as having the best hands they've ever seen. And that was his best skill set. Again, not that he was the fastest, not that even he could run the best routes. But damn it, Chris Carter can catch. He could catch in any condition, in any stadium against any defensive back. Just go back and look at Chris Carter's highlights and go look at his stats as well and see how consistent he was and how much of a force all of his offenses that he were a part of was. A lot of that is, yes, Denny Green, great coach, but look at his quarterbacks, y'all. It's a Wheel of Fortune wheel full of quarterbacks. Dante Culpepper, Brad Johnson's in there. I think Jim McMahon is in there somewhere. I believe those did I say Randall Cunningham? Randall Cunningham twice with the Eagles and the Vikings. So man, look, just go back, do your research on Chris Carter, and he definitely states his own case. Other people who I considered, of course, Tony Gonzalez, but I just think Kelsey has eclipsed him totally. But if you have Tony Gonzalez on yours, just like Tom Brady had him on his, I'm not mad at it either. Calvin Johnson, T.O., and Julio Jones, I think those are the only ones left from that era that deserves to be in this conversation. T.O. definitely. And T.O., he was almost on there for me. He was almost on there for Chris Carter, but I feel like Chris Carter just overall had a better career and is a better receiver than T.O. to me, in my opinion. T.O. better run after catch, but he does not have better hands than Chris Carter. And to me, that's what defines what a great receiver is more than anything, is how good your hands are. But T.O., if it was a fifth person on a Mount Rushmore, it might be him for me. And then two people who I want to mention who are playing now, who nobody's even considering, who, like, if you threw any one of these two guys on your Mount Rushmore receivers right now, people will look at you like you crazy, or they will say it's way too early. But I'm down for the conversation for Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Unproven, yes, they have not had the careers that the other guys have had. And yes, I believe that having a long-standing career with your stats build up, with your resume already done, it counts for something. Their resumes are not nearly finished. Matter of fact, both of them are just getting started. But I'm telling you, one day we're going to look at this list 10, 15 years from now and be like, why in the hell they didn't put Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase on there? It's going to be one of those guys who we're going to be looking at each other like that with. But yeah, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Travis Kelce, and Chris Carter, that's my Mount Rushmore receivers. Please hop in them comments and let me know what yours is.